TV show was the darkest point of my life. I remember being there at a certain time. I'm driving McLaren. It's my birthday. There's big parties, room mansions, there's cameras. It's the rock star life. Everyone's loving it. But I was miserable. I'm George Mirosevich and I'm a chef, and food is at the heart of everything that I do. I started in February as a basic bro, posting photos of me and the boys drinking.
Yep.
To within 5 months, accumulated across Instagram and Facebook, 400,000 followers. And it got to a point where I almost thought, I don't want to be a chef anymore. Like I would start at 7 a.m. I wouldn't finish till 1 a.m. the next morning. Go home, sleep for 3 hours, back to work. And I used to Skype my mum every single week. She's like, have you taken up hard drugs? I'm like, no. She goes, George, you look sick.
Guys and girls who have been sort of trained to work hard and have that work ethic instilled in them can be absolute savages in this industry.
I said, man, if I can give you one piece of advice to skyrocket you past everyone in your league.
George, mate, welcome to the Get Harder podcast.
Thank you.
Mate, we've met before, obviously, and I wanted to have you on to have a chat with you. For those who do not know you, can you tell everyone exactly who you are and what you do?
I'm George Mirosevich and I'm a chef, and food is at the heart of everything that I do. Right now, if I want to break down my week, the busiest things are Bear Chefs, my ready-made meal company, content creation, and curating experiences for brands that money can't buy.
Okay, so let's talk about each one individually. Let's start with the first one.
Bear Chefs, ready-made meals.
Yep.
So 3 years ago, me and my brother were running a catering business. We were based in Newcastle and we were traveling to Sydney sometimes 7 days a week, right? We were both fit, young, fit-ish.
Mate, you're so fucking ripped. Look at you. Jesus. I look at your arm cannons popping out.
That's it. And for me, the really alarming part was, we're going from Newcastle to Sydney. We're cooking these big bloody mansions, Wagyu, caviar. We're cooking this amazing food. But what are we doing on the way home? Mickey D's every time. Now, this one week, the bookkeeper says, George, we need to talk about this. She goes, you spent $600 at service stations on food this week alone. And I felt like shit. Like we're talking like protein cookies, we're like Caesar wraps, whatever it may be, just garbage.
Yeah.
Right? Just putting food in my mouth mindlessly. And that made me realize, well, hang on a sec. What about the people that can't even cook? Like I'm able, I'm fit, I'm young, and I can cook a lot of great food. And even I'm still going towards that fast food. So Bear Chef was a product built for people that are time poor and busy and don't want to sacrifice nutrition.
Is it very similar to, is it Muscle Mills? Or like the ready-made meals that you chuck in the microwave or the oven?
Correct. Yes, it's a meal in a container that you put in the oven.
Yep.
But the quality of food is second to none. It's what changed my life. Going through this phase, the two things that changed my life 2 years ago were Bear Chefs and deciding to wear all black, right?
Why? Because it's slimming?
Well, first of all, it took all the thought process out of my day.
Yeah.
Having Bear Chefs in the fridge, knowing that I was going to have great food all the time to feel great, to optimize my output, that was number one. There was no thought process, what's on Uber Eats, what's this? And then wearing black, there's no thought process. I'm going to wear the same black shirt or singlet. It all goes in the washing machine with my sauna towels, my gym towels every day. So not deciding on food and not deciding what I wear each day, that's what got me to where I am today.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg mentioned a few years ago, he goes, you go to my wardrobe, I have the same t-shirt, the same pants, and it takes one thing I need to decide out of my life every day. I go in there, grab a t-shirt, grab my pants, I go to work.
Correct.
I don't need to think about it. And I save 10, 20 minutes a day.
Yep. And the byproduct of me eating great food and looking after my body, I walk in anywhere with my $12 t-shirt and still look better than most of the room. So that was enough evidence to me. That's the right thing to do.
And what else are you doing with yourself?
So content creation, for me, since being on the TV show, it's sort of...
What's a TV show?
Billion Dollar Playground.
Okay.
So me and my brother starred in that as the chefs. So Billion Dollar Playground is a reality TV show that follows the lives of people that cater for the uber rich. So we have a brand new house, $30-40 million, with brand new guests each week. And the TV show follows us. So chefs, catering, butlers, concierge, housekeeping. And it's all about our lives catering for the ultra rich. So for me, when I knew that was coming out, I said, right, I'm going to pick up a tripod and I'm going to start. And I'll tell you what, that was 10 hours of my life for a 15-second video. It was hard, right? Yeah. Even spending 10 weeks in front of a camera for reality TV, that's different because we're doing our thing. We're getting around. We're working, right? Yeah. When it comes to a tripod in front of your face with a camera, you just shut off. It's hardcore.
What made you start producing content for yourself? And what's one or some advice you can give to people that want to start producing content, but obviously are nervous to do so. But they know they kind of need to for their own personal growth and probably for their business as well.
Be okay with sucking. You have to suck first. That's the reality.
Sucking at content.
At content, yes. Yeah. Let me clarify. Be okay with sucking at content because you're not going to be great at the start.
Yeah.
There is so much to absorb. For me, my personal strategy and game plan was to go, right, who's doing well in the food creator space? And literally copy their videos to the point of getting their video, dropping in a Final Cut Pro. If there's 35 slides, then you make sure you do 35 slides, right? They're already figuring it out. They're already getting millions of views. There is no shame in copying their product at the start, just so you get familiar with it, and then you can digress. You can go off. You can be your own person.
Yeah.
But it is really hard to start. Don't have any shame in copying the guys that are doing the best. You're not going to be there forever, but it's a very long, slow road. Get your reps up, but have no shame in that. Be okay with not being great and copy the guys that are doing the greatest thing.
And how much content should you produce weekly or daily? What are your thoughts around that?
At the start, I was doing 3 posts a week. So 3 posts on my grid plus stories. Stories is a bit of a different one. Stories to me now is more of a brand building exercise. And it's also me understanding what my audience really wants. So at the start, I had a contractor. He would come in and we'd just film for like 6-7 hours. He'd bang out 3 videos. We'd post it and that was it. And to be honest, I was very directional with just fast-paced, doable, healthy cooking videos. And that's when I had somewhat virality. I started in February as a basic bro, posting photos of me and the boys drinking, to within 5 months, accumulated across Instagram and Facebook, 400,000 followers.
It's incredible. Well done.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Well done. Yeah, Shern, or Shan, as I sometimes call her by mistake, hates me because I don't produce any. I have a very small profile, not as big as yours, and I don't produce much content, and it really pisses her off because she's always going to push me for content. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it, and I never do.
Yes.
I think, as you mentioned earlier, you've got to be consistent, and don't be like me that produces content every 3 or 4 weeks, one piece. Almost do it daily.
To a point, and like I said, me at the start, I knew the show was coming out. I knew that if I had a platform with 1,000 followers, or 50,000 followers, I'm still going to get the same exposure, right? So for me, I was like, right, that's when the camera came out 6 months before. Then we're going to start filming content, and I just dialed in on the food. Right now, if you look at my spaces and all across social media, it's more brand building. It's, trying different things. Once again, I'm going back to the point of like, you're going to suck at this for a bit, George. But it's all about building the brand rather than being known as George, who just cooks healthy videos.
Producing content, what has it done for you in terms of what opportunities has it presented that you probably would never have received otherwise?
I've got 2 parts to that answer. Number one, first of all, brands. Brands want your reach. Yeah. So I've got one video that, not overnight, probably over the course of 2 weeks, did 40 million views.
Oh shit, that's
right?
huge.
100%. And for, if we're looking down marketing advertising, let's look at, big car brands. I'm going to use Toyota for an example. When they advertise the Toyota Yaris, it's a Yaris going sideways around a racetrack. Is that necessarily going to appease people to go, oh yeah, I'm going to buy a Yaris? Not exactly. So there's this shift at the moment where people that can create content have much more power and reach than these guys with huge marketing budgets. So for me, it was very apparent when these big brands are coming across and going, oh geez, we can offer you this much money for this exposure. I'm like, what? How? And when you start understanding how much they can spend per click to get in front of their audience versus you with a camera, it's the ball's moving. It's going from old style advertising to, well, essentially content creators and new entrepreneurs of the digital world.
What size deals are you being offered at the moment?
At the moment, small to large, anywhere between $10,000 for a reel to $50,000 for a 3-piece reel.
That's great. And you started producing content in February of 2025.
Yes.
So for those listening, it's been 9 months, and already been offered between $10,000 to $50,000 for content.
Correct.
Now, that's insane.
It's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. Wow. And that may get up to $100,000 in the future if you keep growing, which I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
And what type of content are you producing for these brands? Is it food related?
Everything's food related. So for me, if we look at just, a collaboration with a pasta company, that was just a reel talking about their product, not being too salesy, being fun about it.
About it.
No, because people subconsciously, they switch off. They don't want, no one wants to be sold to. I don't want to be sold to. So it's got to be entertaining. And that's part of the craft of working with these brands. You do get pushed around a little bit, but you want to play a ball and you want to have access to those deals, you got to play ball. You got to go through that process.
Yeah. Now, what's the third party business? You've got your Bear Food, was
Bear
it?
Chefs.
Bear Chefs, content, and what's the third part?
This is fun. So for me, look, I've been a chef for 15 years.
Yep.
That's all I know. Now I've done my time on deep fries with fish and chips. I've worked in hatted restaurants in Australia, 3 Michelin star in London, 3 hat in Australia. I've owned a restaurant. I've sold a restaurant. I've got a catering business. Everything I do to do with is food. So for me, I see myself as the artillery of food. So when I talk to brands, I go, right, what's your budget and what's your vision? Right? So the budget could be, X amount of dollars, and that's obviously going to be reflective of what sort of goes into it. But what I'm seeing is people have these weird and wacky ideas, right? And I'm like, put it on me, because I might not, I might say yes, so we're doing that, but it's going to inspire me. Your vision is my inspiration. That's the first thing I say to all of them. So for example, we're looking at, with the watch company right now, they have picked out a house from the TV show.
Yep.
And they said, right, we're going to launch 3 new watches this year. And once you send them across to you, be inspired by the watches, be inspired by the real estate, create an experience for our top 10 clients around the world.
So look at the watch, look at the house, and then create an experience in terms of food.
Correct.
For our top 10 clients.
So we're talking 10 Nick Bells walk into the room. They're flying around.
Probably richer than me.
But they've got everything. They've got the cars, they've got the houses, they've got the jets.
Yeah, okay.
These guys want experiences, and these brands know that, right? These customers, they get invited to all sorts of cool parties.
Yeah.
But they're like, for me, by reaching out and going, right, I can do anything with food, and give me your wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Because like I said, your vision is my inspiration, and let's see where it goes. So it's everything from glamorizing a canteen menu to a watch brands to barbecues, budget, vision, let's go.
Can you tell us some of the wild stories you've done so far or catered for?
Not with the brands. I can say catering stuff, absolutely. So I've got some pretty cool clients. This comes to mind straight away. I wasn't allowed to see where I was going. So this client I cooked for 5 or 6 times, and they said, look, we can't tell you where the property's going to be, but literally you're going to jump in a car with all your stuff and you're going to rock up to the property. I was like, yep, cool, whatever. Oh, this is weird. But I trusted them. I wouldn't do that on the first time.
So you don't know where you're going?
This particular time, no.
Okay.
I've jumped in the van. I've filled it up with all my own stuff. Phones get left behind. I get driven for about 20 minutes. Not blindfolded.
I wish I was blindfolded. Would have been awesome.
Not that red hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no phones, no nothing. Into the garage, walk up the stairs. It was somewhere in Sydney. And I walked in. And have you seen Madagascar, the kids movie?
Yeah.
Okay, this was real life Madagascar. We're talking 3-story, like we're talking palm trees, waterfalls, animals in Sydney somewhere.
That's insane.
Insane. So I walked in and they're like, I'll just go through the atrium. So I'm walking through, I'm looking around, I'm like, what is this place? Yeah. Walk straight through.
Was it a private residence?
Private residence, yeah.
That's crazy money.
I still don't know. I still don't know. That's about as much as the story I can tell. And I just cooked food. That was it.
Did they eat the food?
Yeah, 100%. They always eat the food. That's why they get me back.
So what's next for you?
What's next?
Just keep building your brand.
Keep building brand. Look, for me, the direction's always, have more impact, do more. If we're looking at George on a personal level, what I do really behind the scenes is I'm chasing energy. If we go back to the TV show was the darkest point in my life.
In what way?
Nothing to do with the TV show. This was a personal issue.
Yeah.
I remember being there at a certain time. I'm driving McLaren. It's my birthday. There's big parties, room mansions, there's cameras. It's the rock star life. And we're sitting there and I'm half cut and everyone's enjoying themselves. Everyone's loving it. And I was miserable. Now, at the time, Bear Chefs was 6 months old. It was losing a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was go home, look after that business.
Yeah.
And what I realized was I love food, but the stigma that comes with it, the drinking, the partying, the late nights, I didn't like that anymore. And it got to a point where I almost thought, I don't want to be a chef anymore. And I realized, no, hang on a sec, George, cut the shit. But I had to get real. I had to get really real with myself. And it's been 12 to 18 months of like really deep personal development. And I went back to basics. I had some fallouts of relationships. I didn't love myself. And I had to fall back in love with myself. And that all started with food. And it meant that, I thought the really cool stuff was working with these billionaires and these really high-performing business people because of the experience and check out that car and I get to high-five this guy. and like fat paychecks. But really, the value was so much more than that. Because what I realized was the guys that I started to sort of gravitate towards, I realized one day I've never seen them with any sort of substance or alcohol. And when I meet them, they're literally walking out of the meeting room and they're walking back in. I was like, hang on a sec. And I started talking to them. These are all clients that I've consistently cooked for that somewhat became mentors. And in their own words, it got to a point where they said, George, really what's important is health, right? They've got all the hyperbaric changes. They've got the cold therapy, they've got this, they've got that, the special meds, the special water. But it all comes back to food. And for me, it was a realization where these guys have everything and they're going back to try reverse age body clocks, trying to eat great food. And what I realized, the lesson wasn't hanging out with billionaires. The lesson was these guys have it all and they're going back to basics, which is food. Because you can have all the hacks and the magic pills, but if you're not feeding yourself properly every single day, you piss in the wind.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my big lesson. And that was my big lesson that smacked me in the face 12 months ago. And that's when I said, right, from now on, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And
you completely quit drinking?
Completely quit it.
Wow.
To the point where I don't throw shade over. I'm not like, I've got my sober app, but I don't claim that I'm sober. Yeah. But I know for this next part of my life, I need to be sober to really get the most out of it. Because for me, let's say I get blind drunk tonight and then I go to have my sweet potato, poached fish, whatever it is tomorrow, I'm going to feel like shit anyway.
Yeah.
Right? To really dial myself back and to really know who George is, I have to be clean. I have to make sure I'm doing my rehab, my breath work, all that sort of stuff. And then to really get rock solid evidence of what makes me feel good. And that all starts what goes in my mouth.
Take us through a typical day in terms of your health regime. So obviously you've quit alcohol in the past 12 months. What are you doing now to look after yourself?
An ideal day in Jordan's day.
Yeah, ideal day.
Ideal day, right. We're awake, warm lemon water, number one.
Sorry?
Warm lemon water.
Okay, yeah.
Downstairs, boil the kettle, squeeze the whole lemon.
In the morning?
5:36.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Ideal. And then back upstairs. Breath work. So warm lemon water, breath work, meditate, ice bath.
Well,
straight to the gym.
This is like the perfect morning.
This is the perfect morning. It hasn't been like this every single day, trust me. And straight to the gym. Now, once again, chasing what makes me feel good. I've been going down this avenue of movement. So I'm not claiming that I'm big calisthenics, whatever it may be. I've never even touched my toes. Right? Yeah. That's the honest truth.
Can you touch your toes now?
I'm so close.
Okay.
I'm so close. But for me, it's once again going down this avenue. What makes me feel good? What gives me energy?
Yeah.
So movement, much less weights at the moment, and then my landing routine: red light, sauna, and journaling. That's sort of my come up. That's my go down, and then that's all in aid to give me the most amount of energy for that 12-hour period that I'm on the go doing my things.
It's about a 3-hour morning if you add all that together.
I break it up throughout the course of the day because otherwise it's too long between the time I wake up to the time I sit in front of the computer. I did that for a little while. It was 3.5 hours at the start. And I was like, dude, you're taking the piss. Like you're getting to your first task at 3.5 hours of the day and your brain power's not there.
Yeah, because the issue is if you try and do all these treatments, which I was doing at one stage, sauna, ice bath, training, for grounding, getting sun.
Yes.
Everything. I do a little bit of breath. I don't do journaling. But it was a 5-hour morning.
Yes.
And it's just when do I actually work to go make money?
100%.
It wasn't feasible. So I think you need to find some balance in that routine.
All that for me, I list all that out right now. This is all the last 12 months about creating artillery to make me feel better. Now, my food artillery, I know what makes me feel great. I've got a great team behind me as far as my diet. I went through the biogenetic testing. So at the start of the year, I had a lot of gut issues to the point where I was jacked, I was strong, I was eating a kilo of steak a day. But I was having a meal and 60 minutes later, I'm on the ground. Like excruciating.
Can you talk us through this? So what testing did you do?
Biogenetic testing. So I had a lot of testing done, but if what's really shaped my diet, this is the one. So for me, biogenetic. So
testing.
figuring out what food you're genetically supposed to eat.
Okay.
Right? So you got to send off stool and blood samples to the States.
Yeah.
It comes back and goes, right, George, you're Croatian, so Mediterranean diet suits you most. So I should be prioritizing fish, eggs, vegetables, fruit, things like steak and sugar once a week max.
Is that right?
Because that's what my body's genetically meant to actually process.
Yeah.
Right? So once again, I was pissing in the wind at the start of the year, going, right, I'm eating a kilo of steak, I'm eating all these vegetables, whatever it may be. Yes, it's healthy. It may be great for you, but for me, my body's not built to break that down. So that's been another one of my avenues where I'm like, geez, all right, give me this list of food. How do I make this convenient, approachable, and, not taking me 3 hours in the kitchen each day?
Yeah.
Once again, that's also sharpened my artillery to live an energy full of more life. So for me at the moment, talking about all these regimes, that's created my artillery to make me feel better. Like you said, sometimes like a rush routine, I'm in front of the computer in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's like a little bit of breath work and don't meditate today. Ice bath's great. Maybe I might train like at lunchtime.
Yeah.
But it's about having the artillery to go, right, today this is what I'm being dealt with. What am I pulling out? What am I going to use? Because I need to do something, right? And, on an ideal day, it's a Saturday and things all pushed to the side, no one's calling me.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Well, let's really,
You got time.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
But I think right now, the last 12 months is about acquiring those skill sets, realizing what makes me feel great, and then branching off that and then using what I need it. Because life's different all the time. It's a whirlwind this week. It's a little bit more relaxed next week. Oh shit, we're on a big whirlwind next week. And just a matter of just pulling and going back and forth and not being too hard on yourself.
Would you recommend everyone does biogenetic testing?
Oh, hell yeah.
To see what their body needs?
Absolutely. It's changed my life. It's changed my life. I feel amazing now.
Do you have fish every day?
Every single day. So fish, ideal diet. So sweet potato as the carb with white fish for lunch with 3 or 4 different vegetables, all roasted at the moment. What I've found with roast vegetables is it's much less abrasive on the gut and I process it much better.
Okay. Compared with?
Say lettuce, cucumber, like fresh raw veggies.
Yep.
I know that you think about you breaking down your mouth, that's fine. But even when you break it all down, it's still much more abrasive on the gut.
Is that right?
As opposed to a roast zucchini, roast cauliflower, roast broccoli. So for me, fish, sweet potato and vegetables, lather up in olive oil, hemp seed oil, avocado oil, seeds. 5 days a week, there'll be some sort of cultured food. So we're talking like sauerkraut, kimchi. Once again, through the genetic testing, it says, George, maximum 5 days a week. That's what your body's going to be optimized on by eating this style of foods.
Yeah. So
getting the genetic testing and having someone that you trust to sort of guide you through that process, it means that you can actually go out and buy the food that, you're built to process and then start your journey that way.
It's funny you say this. I've actually done this test as well. And it said very similar. I should eat far more fish than meat. And I've resisted because I was brought up steak, some veg, mashed potato kind of guy.
Yep.
And I'm trying to move away from it, but I've gone back into my old ways. But I feel so much better when I eat plenty of fish. Obviously, wild caught fish, not farm fish, of course.
Yes.
And I can see how it would make a difference too. And do you feel it makes a difference to your body just generally?
Absolutely. It's my skin. My skin's so much better. What I also realized was I was eating way too much food. I was just eating too much. And sure, I wasn't drinking or partying or, filling my body with shit.
Yeah.
But I was still, first of all, eating the wrong food and eating too much of the wrong food, even though it was somewhat healthy. So genetic testing is the place to start. Look, it's not as scary as you think because they're going to give you a list of food that your body's built to process and your body's built to optimize off.
Interesting. Mate, can you give one piece of advice to those out there that are looking to start a business of some kind? Obviously, you've had your ups and downs in business and you've been through some challenging times and you've had some wins. What's the one piece of advice you would give everyone out there?
What are you good at? Because for me, I've always boiled back down to food. I had this during COVID. Everyone was sad and sitting in the lounge drinking a lot of wine. I was like, I'm going to start a Prosecco business. So I'm on the phone and I'm calling these guys and I end up locating 10,000 litres of Prosecco juice. Got it all, sent it off to another winemaker. He made it. Then it got bottled up. Anyway, turns out 3 months later, I had 10 pallets of Prosecco rock off my door. Right? That was a learning curve. It was cool at the time. Was I really passionate about Prosecco? Was I passionate about alcohol? No, not at all. So when the times got tough, I was very resistant towards, having to do the hard stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to Bear Chefs, content creation and working, with the top end brands, I'm still fully immersed in food. So it's okay. I'm still learning and I'm only adding to my own mission. Prosecco wasn't my mission. So do something that you love because it's going to make it much easier when the times do get tough, and they will get tough.
What are your thoughts on the chef industry at the moment? So people that work in restaurants, the yelling and the screaming, is that all calmed down? Is it still in play? And what are your thoughts around the industry at the moment?
It's calmed down a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm gonna go back to my glory days in London.
You worked in London?
Yeah, I spent 2 years at Ledbury.
Oh, how was that?
Life-changing. Life-changing on a business level and a personal level. Business, well, so when I say business, on a personal skill set level in a kitchen, we spent so many hours in that place. Like I would start at 7 a.m. I wouldn't finish till 1 a.m. the next morning.
Oh.
Go home, sleep for 3 hours, back to work. Right? So once again, starting with business, this is probably going to go back to your first question. It's all well and good to say I've owned a business for 2 years. That's great. But did you spend 5 hours a day, 5 days a week? Or did you spend 18 hours a day, 5 days a week? Because it's not about how many days or months or years you've been in there. How many hours are you spending per day in that time frame? And what I learned was you can achieve and you can learn a lot if you just go balls to the wall. And that's exactly what I did, 18 hours a day. That was the truth, man. It was rogue. Like it was testing. I went from, I walked in that kitchen 90 kilos and I used to Skype or MSN my mum. Skype every single week. And on week 3, she's like, George, we need to chat. I was like, okay, what's up? She's like, have you taken up hard drugs? I'm like, no. She goes, George, you look sick. Anyway, I was 78 kilos. I went from 90 kilos to 78 in 3 weeks. Period? 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Right? My face was sucked in. Yeah, in hindsight, I looked like a junkie. But it was because I was not sleeping. I wasn't resting. I was working like an absolute dog. 3 cups of coffee a day, sometimes 4, and 1 meal. That was it. Now, am I saying that is the way to do it? No, absolutely not. But that was a period of my life where I realized it's how many hours you're spending on the thing that you're trying to improve on per day. So my 2 years at Ledbury were like 4 years anywhere else in the world. It was hardcore. It was brutal. Would I go back tomorrow? No, it's a different place. I'm a different place in my life. But any young chef, just book a one-way ticket, get to Europe, get to London, bring that knowledge back to Australia.
What made you fly to London and how old were you at the time?
I won a scholarship.
Oh, wow.
So I won a scholarship that gave me a $10,000 check and a one-way ticket to London to work in the Ledbury with Brett Graham. So I was 19 at the time. You know, for me, before I left, I had...
What a wake-up call that is.
Oh, well, I lived at home with mum. I had a partner of 4 years. So if I needed a bill paid, they would do it. Not that there was any bills at 19.
Yeah.
My undies were folded in my drawer each night, right? So I went from like being very nurtured, everything being done to me, to moving to London, having to get a lease, having to figure out how to use a washing machine, and having to shop for my own food. And that, for me, that grew me up real fast. Went from everything in Australia to having nothing in London, and also working 95 hours a week in one of the world's most brutal and prestigious kitchens.
I still believe work ethic separates the losers from the winners.
Yes.
Guys and girls who have been sort of trained to work hard and have that work ethic instilled in them can be absolute savages in this industry. Because at the moment, a lot of people are choosing work-life balance, and that's fine. It's their choice. But if you really want to make money and build a career, now is the time to do it. Because a lot of people are choosing, I'm going to do 9 to 5 and I'll take a couple of sick days a month. Whereas the savages are going, no, I'm all in. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to make some fucking cash. And this is the time. Don't you agree?
I couldn't agree more. I've went through the contracting route at the start of the year with my videographer. And now he's actually one of my first kitchen-hands at my restaurant back in 2019. He's now my videographer. 20 years old. Never used a professional camera. Obviously, these 20-year-olds are very handy with an iPhone. To the point where he was working with me full time. Now he's actually moving. He's living with me.
Oh shit!
Right, and that's the thing.
That's commitment.
It's commitment, mate. He's gone from once again party boy to eating organic food with George, waking up, getting it done, and he's now on the mission. And I tell you what, the first thing I said to him, because obviously working, very closely, it's just always on their phone. I said, man, if I can give you one piece of advice to skyrocket you past everyone in your league, put your phone down.
Yeah.
Put your phone down and concentrate, because we're all guilty of it at times. But your generation in particular, dude, it is killing you. Right? I don't care that you can do 2 things at once. You can't. Put your phone down. Give yourself at least just 4 or 5 hours just away from it, and the progress you'll have. This goes for everyone.
Yeah.
once again, buzz to the moon.
Yeah. I'm guilty. When I'm on my phone wasting time, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Yep.
It's funny how this videographer moved in with you
Mm-hmm.
and his habits changed. And there's an old saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Yes.
Meaning surround yourself with the right people
Mm-hmm.
and your life will improve dramatically as this guy's has.
Look, it's very difficult. Let's say you live in a house and a share house with 4 blokes, right? And they all love eating KFC, getting on the piss and smoking weed. It's very hard for you to decide, you know what? I'm going to eat organic food. I'm going to go to the gym in the morning. I'm going to have sauna at night when they're all doing that. You've got to be, it's really difficult. I strongly suggest you need a new environment. Remove yourself. There's no shame in saying I need to move cities or whatever it may be, but it is really bloody hard to make positive changes, have positive impact. And immediately, if you're in that environment where it's like, oh, no, it's pretty easy just to fall back into it. And that's what London did for me. I went from being comfortable to being in the shit on the other side of the world in one of the hardest restaurants in the world.
Mate, you've done London for 2 years, 18 hours a day, 5 days a week. Everything else should be easy for you, really, to a degree.
It can't get any worse.
Yeah, I was going to say. No, that is, if I was a young guy wanting to be a chef, I'd probably move to Europe and work in a restaurant like that just to build resilience.
That's it. That's all. Like for so long, I was worried about the skill set and like, oh, I'm not learning this. I'm not learning this.
Yeah.
Just learn the skill set of life, of resilience, of getting after it and just showing up. Because there's going to be so many periods in your life where you feel like shit and you're like, oh, I didn't really do anything today or I didn't really get anything done today. I just got flogged at work. No, you're learning so much more. Let's zoom out. What you're learning is so much greater than you learning how to cut a vegetable properly. It's environmental.
Yeah. Mate, thank you for the chat. It was great.
Mate,
It's lots to talk about with you. Yeah, man, I look forward to seeing your career. It's going to be fun to watch.
Mate, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, George.